Today we're playing Humoresque from Suzuki Book 3. Welcome back. Welcome to the studio. My name is Cassie and I'm a professional violist and teaching artist. So today we're working on the Humoresque and there's a bunch of new things that I'd like to go over before we do our slow playthrough. The very first thing is in the first measure. We've got a new rhythm, a 30-second note and a 30-second rest. So the 30-second note has 3 bars as opposed to a 16th that has 2 and an 8th note that has 1. Some people call these flags too. So I want us to think of that very first line as 16th notes with just a little bit of a breath in between the notes. So if it was printed as 16th notes, it would sound like this. Instead, we just have a little bit of a breath in between the notes. It might also be helpful to think of the subdivisions here too, so I would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So we're always resting on 3. So it's play, play, rest, play, 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 rest. So hopefully one of those ways will work for you. I'd like to play through that first line, and we're going to do it very slowly at first. Let's go to playing position, and I'll count to 2 twice. 1, 2, ready, go. Let's speed that up a little bit. 1, 2, ready, go. Great, so when we do our slow playthrough and our fast playthrough, you'll have a chance to work on those at tempo. The next spot I want to cover is in measure 9. I prefer the 3rd position fingerings here, so we're going to practice shifting to 3rd position. So my very first note in that measure is a 2 on the G string, and then immediately after I'm shifting to 3rd position on the D string. So really, the shift happens on the G string. I'm playing my 2nd finger, shifting to 1 on the G string, and then plopping my 3 on the D string. So let's try that again. We're going to play our 2nd finger, shift to 1, and then plop 3. Now, we can't sound that 1 when we're actually playing through the piece, but for practice purposes, it's okay to do. If you're struggling to find that first finger, we can also sound the shift. So I would still play my 2, but then I'd go back to my 1st finger and sound that entire shift. So now might be a good time to stop the video and just practice that shift a couple times until it feels comfortable. In the very next measure, we're shifting down to 1st position. So we've gotten up to 3rd position, and now we need to practice shifting back into 1st. So let's start in measure 9 on our high 2. Shift to 3rd position. Freeze, shift down to 1st position, and then plop your 3. Let's try those 2 measures one more time. Starting on high 2. Shift up. Freeze, shift down, plop 3. The same exact thing happens in measure 13 and measure 14, so watch out for that fingering when you get there. The next measure I'd like to go over is measure 23. This ends our A section when it repeats, and it's just a little bit different than the first time we played it. There's also additional 3rd position work here, and we kind of have to find a note out of the blue, but I'm going to give you a trick on how to do that. So I'm starting in measure 23 on an open D, and then out of the blue I have to find that low 3. So really what I'm doing always is I'm shifting with my 1st finger. So I'm going to sound that shift this time. Play your open D, then use your 1, shift up to third position, and then we would plop our low 3. Let's try that again. Open D, sound your shift, 1. So we obviously, again, can't do that when we're playing the piece, but for practice purposes, it's a great thing to do. If you're struggling to find third position silently, there's another thing that we can do. So I'm going to play my open D with my third finger on the A string. And now I know where third position is because my 3 was there. I'm going to silently replace that with my 1. And now I know where that 3 goes because it's just, we're in third position already. So my first finger, again, is acting as a guide, but it's just on the A string. So let's try that. You're going to play your open D. Third finger's been set. You're going to shift up silently to that 1. Now you know where that low 3 goes. The remainder of this measure is also in third position. So let's try that shift one more time and we'll continue on in the measure. Open D. Cross 2, 1. Cross back, low 3, 2. Shift with your first finger and your forearm down to first position. Let's try that whole measure again. Open D. Cross. Cross. Shift. So now might be a good time again to stop the video and just practice that section. The next thing I want to point out is in measure 25. We have a key change here. There's 2 flats in our key signature indicating G minor. We started our piece in G major. We had 1 sharp, F sharp in the key signature. So just watch out for that when it happens. The next measure I want to practice is measure 33. We've got more third position work here. So let's go to playing position. And again, I'm going to tap that third finger so I know where third position is. And then do my silent shift. 1, 1. Let's check and see if we made it to third position. If you didn't make it or that's still a little bit of a struggle for you, just sound that shift, no big deal. You can always use that open G to check. So now that we're in third position, our finger pattern is 2 and 3 touching. So 1 and 2 is a whole step, 2 and 3 is a half step, 3 and 4 is a whole step. So let's do this measure all separate bows. Low 3. Low 3. Freeze, shift back to first position, and we've got some 30-second notes here. So let's try that. 2. Quicker, 4, 3. Quicker, 30-second note, D and G. Good, let's try 33 and 34 with the correct bowings this time, with our slurs. So find third position, either silently or sound that shift, and I'll count to 2. Ready? Go. We're shifting back up. It's the same, it's a similar passage. So find third position. Good, let's try this with the slur. Low 3. 4. Shift back to first position. 2. Next measure, 37, we're shifting back to third position. So use that first finger you just played to find third position on the A string and then hop across. Same as before. Shift. Shift up to third position. Cross to the A string, low 2. Now that D has a fermata over it, and if you're not familiar with that term, it just means to hold until you don't want to hold it any longer. It should at least be 1 beat, probably no more than 4 beats. Now we're ready for our slow playthrough, and I'm going to think of this in 4 as opposed to in 2. So I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4 before we begin, and we're going to do this because our tempo is quite slow right now. Let's go to playing position. Do your checks, curvy thumb, curvy pinky. Nice straight wrist here. And I'll count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. slow playthrough, we'll do our at tempo playthrough. And I'm still thinking of this in 4, so I'll count to 4 before we begin. 1, 2, ready, go. for joining me today. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions or comments or videos you'd like me to make, please post those below because I really enjoy reading those. Happy practicing.